Welcome to No Man's Sky. Diamant here with the Corvette Expedition out. I thought I'd go ahead and put together a few basic tips for running expeditions in general. Not necessarily the current Corvette expedition, but any of them. Because they're obviously going to have expeditions running in the future, and usually towards the holidays, they'll run an event where the older expeditions will loop through so that you actually have a chance to run them. So these basic concepts will help you get through any of those expeditions quickly and smoothly. So let's go ahead and get started. Tip number one would be to stop and browse through all 5 phases of the expedition as one of the very first things that you do. It can be very tempting just to dive right in and start doing each of the tasks one at a time in order as they present themselves to you. However, having a general sense of progression and having an idea of what this expedition is actually trying to accomplish will help you stay organized. For example, phase 1, if I look at it, I know I'm going to be building a Corvette, we're going to be fighting some interceptors, we're going to be warping and flying around. Phase 2, I know we're going to be upgrading even further, we're going to be doing some fishing, so caught 3 fish. If I go to phase 3, we know we're going to be mining asteroids, we're going to be upgrading even further, and I know we're going to be fighting some corrupted sentinels on the planets and flying around in our ship. Phase 4, you're going to be upgrading even further, and you can see the overall progression of this expedition as you browse through all of them. Oh, we're going to be going to pirate territory, we're going to do a smuggling run, and if I go to phase 5, you can start seeing, oh, we're doing anomalies, we're doing a derelict freighter, and then we're going to be fighting some more sentinels. So it gives you an idea start to finish of what this expedition is trying to accomplish, and that'll actually help you stay organized as you go and not get overwhelmed with all of the tasks. Tip number 2, the expedition almost always will give you what you need in order to complete the expedition. It can be very tempting, especially in the beginning, to think, okay, well, I'm missing a lot of things. It might make life a lot easier if I go out and grind and get those things before I really get started. It's often not the case with an expedition. That is the case if you're starting a new save file, like a brand new game. Of course, it's going to be easier for you to stock up on commonly used resources, getting really good upgrades for quality of life, but the expedition will often just give you those things so you don't have to worry about it. Like, for example, the very first thing it wants you to do is go to a space station, and then it wants you to build your ship. But you'll notice the reward for this very first step is a basic module kit. So the game just gave you all of the stuff to build your Corvette, so you're not going to need to grind out any credits to buy the modules in order to build your Corvette. Things like, and where was a good example? Like was it phase 2? Yeah, it wants you to do some fishing. Well, you might think, okay, well, I need to build that module into my tool for it, but you don't have to, because you're going to notice that just going to a lush planet, the game will give you a pre-packaged fishing rig unit that you can put into your multi-tool in order to start fishing. So the expedition will start giving you all of the things. Like this one wants you to upgrade your Corvette's inventory capacity. However, the reward for just going to this phase, the beginning of phase 2, is going to be a Corvette habitation module, which you're then going to use in this step. So just do each of the steps and get the rewards, and then you'll be able to use those rewards to continue on, and don't worry about grinding things out unless you get backed into a corner resource-wise, which rarely ever happens in an expedition. Tip number 3, hang on to all of the rewards that the expedition is giving you. For example, in the current expedition, the Corvette, if I go to phase 1, when I go to here, you'll notice destroy 3 interceptors is one of the tasks right in the very beginning. And once I complete it, I'm going to be getting stacks of crafting resources, some microprocessors, hermetic seals, hydraulic wiring. You don't necessarily know what those are going to be for, however, it is giving you those for a reason. Just like our previous rule, it's giving you all of the things that you need. You'll notice I have nutrient processor built in here, I've got a mission radar in here. These are part of the tasks of the expedition. You're going to be using those crafting materials to build these things, so definitely hang on to them. Another obvious example where it could actually be, well, it won't be difficult, but it can be a pain to actually acquire if you get rid of it. If I go to phase 5, and you'll notice it gives you an anomaly detector. for completing this step? Well, the next step is you have to encounter an anomaly, and then it gives you an emergency signal scanner. Well, the next step is a derelict freighter. So if you didn't, for some reason, now this one's pretty obvious because they're consecutive, but if it had given me this emergency signal scanner back in phase 1 and I got rid of it, now I have to go get another one for this for phase 5 in order to actually finish this step. So my advice, if at all possible, just hang on to the stuff it gives you. Even if you're running a little short on inventory space, it'll pay dividends later and save you a whole ton of time. Tip number 4 would be to look ahead and see if there are any tasks that you can complete ahead of time. For example, when you go to your discoveries, this is the initial system that I started in for this expedition. Hello Games tailors these systems for the expedition. So you'll notice if I go to, say, phase 5, it wants me this Silent the Sentinel threat task was actually me just shutting down the Sentinels on a planet. But you'll notice, let me go back to discoveries, in the very first system, this is a dissonant planet right here. So I will be able to actually complete that task before I even fly to the second part of the expedition. So that can be completed right away. Another example, it wants you to photograph your Corvette. Well, I mean, the very first thing it's gonna have you do is build a Corvette. So once you build the Corvette and you fly out of the station for the very first time, you can then just hop straight into photo mode, and boom, you're done. You've actually completed that step well ahead of time. Another example would be visit a pirate territory, where you're gonna be flying between systems. Like every single one of these has you going to a new marker within the galaxy. Well, as you're traveling, if you happen to see a pirate system, just fly to it on the way, and boom, that part of the expedition is done. So that would be my 4th tip, would be to look ahead at the expedition tasks and just see if there's any you can complete ahead of time. So by the time you get to phase 5, you might only have 2 or 3 things left to do. Also, another good example of that would be the anomaly. Like, you'll actually encounter anomalies all over the place as you're warping around. So it might even be just phase 1 or phase 2 and a random one will pop up. Just stop, take a look at it, and boom, you're gonna get a emergency signal scanner. So you actually could take care of the derelict freighter part right away. So phase 5 will be mostly finished before you even get there, and that saves you a ton of time. It's the difference between, oh, and I'm getting attacked. It's the difference between completing an expedition within a few hours or completing it within a few days. Am I actually getting attacked? Where did he go? Anyway, I'm gonna fight this guy off. I hope that helped you guys out. I hope it makes doing expeditions in general much easier. Apparently he ran away. I hope it makes doing expeditions in general much easier, and I do appreciate the support for the channel, guys. Definitely keep it coming, and I'll see you on the next one. Oh, he's back.